my knees are up in like Froggy, but lying down on my back Froggy.
You're listening to Fucks Given, the one that's kind of about sex positions and a load of random updates.
69, baby!
How are you today, Reed?
I don't know how I am. I think I'm like running on fumes at the moment, and I think I'm good. I'm very, very excited to go to Washington, D.C.
Tomorrow you're flying
and
out
actually hug you
Oh
in
my
the flesh.
God.
Yeah, that's going to be cool. And then spend some time in LA with you.
We're going to have a grand old time. We booked ourselves into some sex parties, some kink meets. We're going to go to a fucking car museum. Yeah, baby.
Yeah. Yes. But otherwise I'm feeling pretty down. I'm feeling pretty sad about life and sad about the breakup. It's only natural, I know, but still hard. It's so hard.
Sounds like you need your Florence.
Yeah, I need Florence time.
I'm going to give you a huge cuddle and we're going to do the bad thing and distract you away from all the healing and all the grief.
Right. Booking all the sex parties. Yeah, that's going to make me feel better. That's going to do the deep healing.
Yeah. We can go on some healing hikes, go to the seaside and stare out at the sea as well. We'll do it all.
And I'm like fighting back the tears at the moment. I'm just like, oh. I had a massage last night, an erotic massage, and I just sobbed through it.
Yes, the erotic massage, because you've had that before, right? And then this is the second time.
Yes, and I don't know how to explain it. Like, there was like a moment where she held my feet and like, you know, my ex used to do that. And then I just sobbed and I was like, I'm never going to have someone hug my feet again. Like,
yeah, you will.
I will. I mean, I got it from her, but it just like opened up a can of worms that I was not prepared for, you know? I was like, nice and relaxing and chill. And then I was like, woohoo!
Sounds like you have a lot of like feelings that you need to get out.
I know, and I don't want to release them. Like, I want to ignore them.
No, you have to. Oh, maybe I'll take you to like a breathwork session in LA and we can like, then you'll fucking cry.
Yeah, it'll all come out then. Woo, I think that'd be a lot.
Yeah.
How are you, Florence? What's been going on your side of the pond?
I'm okay. As you can see, have moved back to my uncle's and I'm saving money. She's cash poor.
Yes.
And I'm like so broke. But everything is great. I'm excited that you're coming this week. I've been in a bit, I think in my life, I've just been like, what is the point of life? And what is my purpose?
Yes. Who am I?
Who am I really? What do I want to do with my
existential
life?
moments.
And as you can tell, I don't really know how to talk about it. But
yeah, I love how we're like both like awkwardly laughing through the pain as well. Like, I'm hurting so much. So funny. Like,
so funny.
So funny.
So funny.
Fuck's sake. This is why we have therapists, because clearly we're not very good at like talking about it unless we've got someone guiding us, you know? It's like, oh, so, you know, no, sit with that feeling. This is what my therapist does a lot. She's like, no, hold up. She sees me tighten up and I get a bit sad, and then the eyes, and she's like, and I'm trying to move past it. And I'm like, yeah, but you know, this happened and this. And she's like, no, let's go back to that moment. Yeah. Sit in the feeling. How do you feel? Where is that feeling coming from? And I'm like, I don't want to fucking sit here. But yeah, it really fucking works. I'm like, oh, okay, why has that made me feel sad?
Yeah, and you really need to feel it to get through it. We know this. We were going to talk about sex positions, but also, before we get into that, are there any updates?
Even though I've given up cocaine, I've been hearing about this a lot. I've been talking about cokey wanks a lot. And anyone who does drugs, especially men, I don't hear many women talk about cokey wanks. But sometimes drugs can make people really fucking horny.
Yeah.
Especially cocaine. Cocaine is... Oh. I mean, I can't diss cocaine because I've been fucking, like, having dependency on it for the past, like, 10 fucking years. But now I'm over it, so, like, fun, I can talk about it now. Yay. I'm so mature. And Cokey Wanks is kind of where you get to the end of the night and you've been like coked up and it's like really early morning and you end up in this endless evil scroll of horn that you can never quite, it's almost like a dopamine dependency where you're just constantly trying to get that dopamine rush that cocaine gives you, that orgasms give you, that porn gives you. Anyone out there that has experienced this knows how fucking evil it is, because you can't stop and it could be hours of wanking, hours of not necessarily achieving an orgasm, of maybe just constantly seeking for that amazing orgasm that you're never going to get. So you scroll and you scroll on porn or you read or do whatever your vice is. Mainly it's porn. It's mainly men wanking till the early hours of the morning, scrolling on porn.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't think we talk about it enough. It's a thing. And it's like, it's evil, but we can't stop because it's so delicious and it's disgusting and we feel like death afterwards and nobody knows. You know, it's like the shame.
I've never heard of this before. It's the first time I'm hearing about it.
Not everyone does Cokey Wanks, but when you do Cokey Wanks, you do them.
I've wanked.
They're like 4-hour wanks.
When I've been high on marijuana.
Marijuana.
I don't know why I said it like that.
Oh, it sounded nice. It's like ASMR for my ears.
No. But yeah, I that's the only experience I've had before, and that's like a great experience because you can feel everything a lot more. And
yeah,
I remember having the weirdest vision though when I was high wanking, that there was like this, almost like this snake of energy going around my body, and it was like a tail and a head, but they had like, the snake had like bitten onto its tail, and whilst I was wanking, like the energy was just like going round and around and around in a circle.
It's like the everlasting wank.
Yeah, so maybe similar but a lot more spiritual.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds amazing. A lot of people use visualizations like that to orgasm. Who is it? Yasmin Benold, she mentioned about the pleasure that she visualizes because she's asexual.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily sex with another human that turns her on. It's enjoying the pleasure almost like within herself. And I thought that was just incredible.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. I've had this weird thing recently where I'm like, I like get turned on by the science of sex when I'm fucking.
Yes.
Like, I like visualizing the actual dick penetrating me. And I'm like, oh my God, this like thing is inside me. And I like to see it in my mind. I like to put my mind's eye in my cervix so that I can see this huge dick coming in and out and in and out. And it gets me off.
It's hot. Have you ever seen porn with internal cameras? Literally from inside the vagina, seeing the dick go in and out. Oh my God.
How?
You might
How
be
do they
into
film that?
I don't know, shove a GoPro up there? I've got no fucking idea. Well, you know, you could have a go. Because it's not just a GoPro either. You need a light too to be able to see. I don't think you could hold a GoPro. Do not put GoPros in your pussies, peeps.
Please
don't do it.
Wait, is it CGI or is it real?
No, it's real. Look at this now. Honestly, like, the internal fuck cams, they must use a medical camera. They must.
Oh my God, there's a whole Pornhub section. Internal camera porn videos. Oh my God, I'm not ready for this.
Internal camera cum shot.
What?
They're so graphic.
The fuck? And how is the camera there? I'm so confused. There's nothing like going out of the vagina, so it's literally just inside you.
There's one where it's 3 cameras, like there's 2 different angles.
In my mind, in the visualization that I had, it was a lot prettier than this.
We don't really see the inside of ourselves. Like we can imagine that there's this beautiful, beautiful pink cave of deliciousness, red
exactly
cave, white cave.
And like lots of space and like
lots of space. There is no space. It is pure
no space. Wow, that was something I did not expect to see this morning.
Wow. learning something new. Yeah, it's like porn, really graphic, intimate porn for breakfast, you know.
I have an update, and this is actually something that happened to me a few weeks back, but I forgot to mention. I took part in a sex magic practice.
Stop. Okay, this is This is first-hand news. Florence, please, I need more. What happened? Are you now magic vagina witch?
She's always been a magic pussy, baby. Haven't you seen the video?
Magic pussy. What video? Are you on Pornhub on the internet?
No, but there was that viral DEE clip where he told me that I had a magic pussy. Do you remember?
Oh,
Back when I worked at Vice.
That one. Yeah, back in the day. Oh, that's nice. DW, all right.
So yeah, the sex magic thing was a group webcam practice. And when the coach came up and she was like, Rare, we're going to be practicing some sex magic. I was like, how the fuck? There's loads of other people here on Zoom. What are we going to do? But it turned out that you could kind of do the practice without touching yourself and without orgasming. But usually you do it resulting with an orgasm. You're basically trying to turn your body into this like magnetic pull, and you have to think about something that you want to like create in your life.
Dick. Were you naked or were you all clothed?
Everyone was clothed.
Okay.
And what you basically had to do was start like moving your body and like thrusting your hips.
Oh my god.
So you were like on the floor with your legs kind of like, you know, like bridge. You're getting ready to go into bridge and yoga or whatever.
Yeah.
And so you're on the floor like that, and you just have to like slowly start like gyrating your hips. And you do it for fucking ages. So much so that I was like, wow, this is like such a good glute like workout.
I'm surprised you have to thrust out when you're trying to pull in.
Well, you're kind of creating this like sexual, like feminine power, sexual energy, and it's supposed to like build and build and build. And like towards the end, she's like, now you can get up and like just start moving like you want to. And you're like, just like trying to be this like sexual mad woman.
Did you manifest?
No.
Did you pull?
It was during my phase where I was still like trying to manifest the perfect partner, and I was like, I just want to connect with my soul partner. That was like what I was like trying to magnetize for. But I think I was pretty disaligned at that point.
I mean, maybe you did. Maybe they're on their way. It might just not be like super soon. It might be in 10 years. Who knows?
When I'm ready.
Yeah, when you're ready. Maybe when you're not ready. Maybe they're like running over. Have you ever watched It Follows?
Fuck.
That fucking terrifying horror film?
Yeah.
One of my faves.
It was weird though, because I went on a date after this thing and I was like, oh my god, like, is this the person? Is it supposed to be this person? But I want to talk about this date on another episode when we get a little bit more serious, because it turned into a bit of a sexual assaulty situation, and I was like, wow, this sex magic certainly didn't work for me.
Fuck. Yeah. But maybe the sex magic wasn't trying to pull this person in. It was pulling the
I don't
right
think
person
so.
in for you.
Yeah. But anyway, I experienced this sex magic practice, and I don't have any like, wow, yeah, it works, or wow, it doesn't work. Maybe leaning on and veering to the side of it not working.
Yeah, especially if you had a shitty experience. That's not cool.
But anyway, sex magic. Woo! I have some very, 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 very exciting news.
Woo!
I wrote a book. What?
Oh, that was my mouth cheering for you.
The book is called This Book Will Make You Feel Something, because it certainly
I'm feeling something
will.
now. Florence wrote a book, everybody, and this is us telling you that you're gonna have to pre-order it.
It's available to pre-order now, and the book is a selection of 25 erotic stories that I wrote myself, and some masturbation advice, tips, everything involved with learning to reconnect with your body and have amazing solo sex. You've got the tools with the stuff to turn you on, and then also the stuff to make that really fucking amazing.
If you enjoy reading or you've ever been into fan fiction, this is the book for you. I feel like I've been through watching Florence go through this process, and she has literally poured her heart and soul and pussy juice into this book. What are some of your favourite stories from the book, Florence?
Oh my god, my favourite one has to be the Cowboy and the Bandit story. Yeah. And I did some vampire and monster stories, but then there's also some like BDSM-y sex parties, and then some just like plain simple romantic stories. Basically everything for everyone.
The cover is beautiful. It's something you need to have on your coffee table.
Thank you. The pre-order link will be in the description underneath the podcast, or it is in the bio on my Instagram at Florence Bark.
Can't wait to have it in my hands, a physical copy.
Thank you in advance for pre-ordering the book, and yeah, love you all. 60 fucking 9.
69, is that the sex position we're starting on? To be fair, that's how we came up with the idea.
That's how we came up with the idea. Yeah. Because I'm like catching up on Love Island, right? And one of the guys on Love Island said that 69 is his favourite position. And the girl he was talking to just kind of looked at him like, all right then. And I really got where she was coming from.
I feel it's so hard.
Yeah, my dude also had the same kind of preference for 69ing. And I said to you, I was like, 69 is such an impersonal sex position.
It depends on how you define personal, right? So personal for us is maybe eye contact, face up close. So it's impersonal. But then personal could be like getting all up in your genital biz. That's really personal, you know? It's like, it's such a...
But it's also like slightly a dehumanizing position, because all you got is like either pussy or dick in your face.
Yeah.
And I personally find it really hard to multitask.
I cannot. I have never been able to come during 69.
I'm super self-conscious when I'm in 69 as well. Like,
yeah.
I don't really want my asshole like up in someone's eyeballs like that.
Yeah, and vice versa. You know, you can stare down into the anus of another person and you've got
I don't want that.
Balls flapping all over your face. Like,
I just don't want that.
And depending on which way round you are, if you're on the bottom and you have dick in your mouth, it is so hard to get comfortable. It's on top is one thing because you have a little bit more control, but you're not concentrating on your pussy being eaten. Or it's like one or the other way around, where they're above you, you're seeing like balls everywhere and there's like dick down your throat that you kind of have no control over.
Yeah.
So it's just like a bit like
I would go as far to say that someone's favourite sex position being 69 is a red flag.
Because... Wow, that's harsh. That's fucking harsh.
Because it's so like, I don't know, like if I'm having sex with someone, I want to be having sex with that person. And for me, that doesn't feel like, it just doesn't feel connected in that way.
They might not know that. I think people who are into 69 have a massive oral fixation. They love blowjobs. They love being there, like love pussy being eaten. You know, people who, it's like both at the same time. And for them, it's probably the best.
I think what also provoked me to say the red flag comment is that in my experience, the person that loved said 69, I also asked him this question once of like, if you could do anything with me sexually, anything in the world, his answer was he'd have me up in some kind of stirrups so that he could fuck my pussy without touching me.
Yes.
And for me, I was like, okay, so if you could do anything with me, it wouldn't actually be about me. It would be about
wouldn't be
my
for
whole.
you. It's not really about like you and your pleasure. But then again,
I was like, get out, red flag.
Get out! Get out!
Get out. Get out. Although obviously I didn't get out. I stayed around for a couple of months.
Oh, we all do. I think, because I get turned on by that thought as well, but I honestly feel like it's more on the objectification side of things, on like using somebody as just a fuckhole, not really thinking about them or their pleasure, just kind of just no external stimulation. It's just penis in vagina. And I get off on that, but not everyone does. Maybe it's a fetish thing.
I have got off on that thought in the past, but I think, yes, I could get off on that if that was an activity that I got up to with someone, but not if it was like, if I could do anything, I would do that.
I love the idea of like sex swings or being completely bondaged up, immobile, but that's not for everybody. And you're right, it isn't personal. I enjoy it because there's the lack of personal there, like the whole idea of just a monotonous, emotionless thing that's gonna fuck you. And that's also because I enjoy internal penetration. If I didn't, I probably wouldn't really feel anything or want that.
Yeah, it would really depend on the situation.
It's like it's being used as an object. It's like, this objectification.
And I don't like that because I love being worshipped and I love like the praise kink. I
like
love being touched fucking everywhere. I want to be immersed in my partner.
I suppose it's the same with like sensory deprivation. You know, it's like blindfold, can't hear, can't speak. All you've got is sensation. And you get off on your other partner getting off on you. It's like very connected. And I think maybe there's kind of like a, because I don't necessarily, I like machines. I like cold, hard, lifeless machines. I like the idea of like forever coming, and it's so interesting.
I also really love the eye contact, and I can't tell you how much I enjoy someone that I like really like fucking me. Like, I love watching them fuck me.
Oh, I wonder if it's an anxiety thing. Like, it's like the eye contact is so personal. There must be, you know, if there isn't eye contact, if there isn't a real human there, if they have been made to be this sort of fuck toy, or vice versa, they're being fucked by not a real human, there's no element of anxiety or social anxiety, or, you know, are they going to see me? Am I going to feel uncomfortable? Like, they're not, it's almost like their lack of human there takes away from the fear around sex, or the fear around not being good enough, or pleasure, or not being able to orgasm that there is when you're with another person.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Wow.
Not for everyone. Just like psychoanalyzing the world. Yeah, like everyone into bondage. You're all got social anxiety.
Have you tried out any new positions lately, or like positions that you don't usually go for?
Not really. I suppose when you do the new position thing, I feel like that's very much a new relationship, new fuck sensation. You're kind of like getting to know the other person and what works for you, what genitals work. It's like the new beginnings of a fuck relationship. Not always. You can still kind of change it up, but like, you know, if you're just having one night stands or casual sex, then you're less likely to be fucking in loads of different positions. I think it's when you're really into each other and you're like, oh, let's try this, let's try that.
Yeah.
You know what I did do recently? And we kind of, it was like legs together, first penetration, legs up together. Because my toes had like toe cuffs on them and they were locked together. It was really, oh my God, had such a hot sex session. My toes were cuffed together, and to my toes, there was string running all the way from my toes to my nipples, and my feet were being tickled. So it was like stimulating my nipples at the motherfucking same time.
Wow.
And then he put a wand in between my legs, and I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, this sounds like some great experimental shit.
It was good shit, and we filmed it, so I might be putting that shit on OnlyFans.
Yes.
But I wanted sex, and because my toes were locked up, I was like, oh yeah, just, you know, flip my legs up. Oh, my arms were tied up as well. Flip my legs up and just fuck me. But I have to warn against first penetration when your legs together. Like, even with lube, I was like, whoa. But then again, that could be condoms. Condoms can be quite drying. It's just the way it be sometimes.
It's not like wide enough. It's too tight.
Yeah, it was tight. It was like a little bit sticky.
But the latest new one for me, in this position I hardly ever do, which is why I kind of wanted to bring it up, which was in the van. It was like the one where he was kind of sitting with his legs, like sitting upright with his legs kind of out, and I was on top of him, like facing him, dick penetrating, and my legs were kind of bent, so I could either kind of be in this like froggy position moving myself, or I could kind of like put my legs out a little bit and like kind of rock and gyrate on him.
Yum. That sounds good, but the poor knees, man. Why is it so hard to be on top? So
No, but the knees
fucking
weren't
lazy.
the knees weren't on the floor.
Oh.
The knees, so they were either like my feet were planted on the floor,
Oh,
or my
so it was
feet
a
were
thigh
out.
thing.
Yeah, so we were literally like sitting on top of each other. Well, I was on top of him. I can't really how to describe this.
It's like, I need you to draw this for me.
And I was thinking, I quite like this position because it's really intimate. Like, we're super close. We
You're
can,
facing
like,
him.
Yeah.
I'm visualizing you in this van fucking him, and I'm not doing it. You're not fucking him the right way, Florence. I've really messed this up. I'm gonna flip you around, facing him in some kind of froggy position on your feet, bouncing up and down with your thighs. Right?
Yeah.
Are you kissing him, or are you like leaning your
Yeah.
weight on his legs?
So there's a little bit of like making out, and I can put my hands like behind myself to kind of steady, or I can put my arms like around his back to sort of like pull into him.
You mess up the position now. I can't visualize.
Anyway, fuck knows, but it was a good one, and I hadn't done it for ages, so I just wanted to give it a little shout out.
Yeah, that froggy position.
Yeah, it's so funny the difference we have in the sex. I'm like all
Yes.
about intimacy and connection. And
I'm
you're
the
like,
complete
yeah, he
opposite.
like had me in toe cuffs and fucked me whilst I was strapped to the bed.
Yeah. It's two very different things, yeah.
What are your like go-to positions that you always do?
Well, I mean, missionary. Like, missionary for first penetration is my absolute favourite because...
Are your legs up, like on his shoulders? Or their shoulders?
My knees are up in like froggy, but lying down on my back froggy. And sometimes wrapped around, but it's really hard to let them pump when your legs are wrapped. But all I want is bondage. That's all I want. I don't or being held down. I'll take that.
Yeah.
And my legs are like flapping around like free, and
I just thought of another really random one that I did the other day for the first time. So picture you're a missionary, but your legs are closed in the middle and his legs are around.
I don't know why that's upsetting me. Like the dryness, it doesn't have to be dry. Why is it dry in my mind?
It's definitely not dry. Use loads of lube.
It's condoms, I think, that's fucking this up for me. When I'm imagining sex with condoms, it's like making it dry.
When I have a regular partner,
Yes.
I use the pull-out method. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not advising you to do it. Don't do it. But
So
I
this is what
take
you
my
do,
own
yeah.
risks.
Yeah, I'm the
on birth
same.
control.
Condoms, unless like both comfortable. But then again, it's different when you're in poly relationships because it's more risk. It's not just like spreading something between you two. It's also spreading something between other people. And then lo behold, if we get prego.
I use condoms with other partners. I've had sex with one other person since since seeing Julian, I've had sex with one other person.
Yeah. I was waiting
We
for the
used a
nickname.
condom.
Yeah, I was like, Jasmine? What was his nickname? And I was like, wait, it's Julian.
But yeah, the legs pinned, like, so you're kind of like a peg. Like, imagine those old-fashioned pegs. And you're just like lying down in the middle. It was quite interesting. I'm not going to say it was super great. I think it was more of like,
The angle of it. I also think it depends on dick. It depends on like dick size because it's really hard to angle in that far. You can't get close. It's not like a balls to vulva situation. It's an awkward one to do, but it can be pleasurable.
Yeah, just throwing it out there, you know, if anyone else wants to try it.
I think I like it because there's an element of like C&C involved, like non-consensual kind of like that's what. But then again, do I just think about that with all sex positions? That's the only way I enjoy them. So I was just thinking like,
there's a lot of different ways you can have your legs during sex.
There's a lot of different ways.
If you're in missionary and your legs are like classic my legs are always on someone's shoulders.
Yes, yeah.
Or you can have
Especially...
them together and then put to the side, and then they can kind of penetrate you from the side but still hold your legs up. So you're kind of like on your back still, but your legs are that side and they're penetrating from, not in between your legs, but from the side.
Yeah. I like the one, the feet up by their face, because then they can lick and suck and like get all up in my feet, and it's just like a whole new sensation.
Do you know what really funny happened with that? So with my ex, Quarantine Bae, we had like 2 different halves of the relationship, right? And in the first half, we were once having sex in that position, and he got like super into it and started like sucking on my toes. And I was like, this is really hot, and it looked amazing. In the second half of our relationship, when we started fucking again, we were in the same position, and I was like putting my foot like near his face, because I was like, well, he was into that last time. And he stopped and he was like, what are you doing?
What? Like, like forgot that he was all up in your feet?
Yeah. I was like, oh, last time you liked it. And he was like, oh yeah, I'm not sure about that now.
It's like the shame came back. Like someone said something shitty about feet and he was like, no, that's not for me. But in the moment he was like all fucking for it. I feel like that's like that for a lot of people. This is why consent and boundaries are quite hard, because in the moment it's all okay.
Yeah.
You're down for anything, you know? And you're like, fuck it, put a finger in my ass. And then afterwards you're like, actually I didn't like that.
Yeah. It was funny though. Like I was just like, oh.
One of my other favourite positions is kind of like Mish, but you're twisted to the side. So you've got...
Kind of like Mish,
but not like... Well, it's all fucking like Mish, except a bit different. So you like think about you're on your back in missionary. Yeah. And then you twist to the side, but they're still in missionary. They're still in that position.
Yeah. This is kind of what I was saying earlier about like the legs on one side.
Yes. Yeah. It's kind of it's like an upright spoons. I'm in spoons position. They're in mission position. Mission position. Wow.
That was just a farting noise.
Oh, I missed that.
Was it your...
It must have been my sofa.
I was like, because it was when you were bending over.
Poots. Little poots. Yeah, speaking of farts, oh my god, massage literally was like holding back the farts of doom. I was just like, no. Please, not right now, you know, when they get really... And why is it that oral, when I've got someone going down on me, that I always have a fart bubble that's like, please, I'm ready to go. Is it because you're just trying to relax? You're like super relaxed?
There are certain positions I feel like the farts really try to come out.
Yeah, when you roll over on your side.
Oh, I've had like a few queefy moments recently as well. Like if you're in doggy. Doggy for me.
Doggy. Fuck doggy. I feel like doggy is the one that you think every dude wants and loves.
They fucking do want it and love it.
Maybe they do. Is it?
They do.
It's a porn position. It's just the porn gaze. It's just the male gaze through porn.
Yeah. I was doing it in the van.
If you're dealing with big dick, doggy and face down, ass up is so uncomfortable. You really have to go slow. It hits in like a really fucking weird way.
If you're behind and you're doing that, someone you want the partner that you're fucking to have their like back arched, right, in a sexy way. And sometimes it's really hard to keep your back arched, especially if someone's like slamming you from behind, and you're like, I feel like whenever I'm in doggy, I'm like, just look sexy, just look sexy, just look sexy. Yeah. I'm like, that's trying to arch my back to shit. Yeah. They're pushing my like upper back down into the floor or bed, and I'm like got my arms up like that, and I'm just like, just take it. Yes. Just take it. Take it for the team.
Take one for the team. They love seeing this. You can do this. They want. But if you're enjoying it, if it's pleasurable, which a lot of the time sex can be, I cannot hold myself up. I just crumble, and then I'm uncomfortable because I'm smushed into a fucking pillow, like on top of my arm. And it's really hard to hold a sex toy up there. Like if you're in doggy or if you're face down, ass up, like what's it called? Child's pose, which is kind of a weird way to say it. with sex positions, but you cannot hold a toy on your clit. It's so exhausting.
Yeah. If they have a big dick, game fucking over.
You can't do it. Just cannot do it.
Ow.
We've talked about a lot of sex positions we don't love. Is there ones that we do like?
I love spoons. I do love spoons.
It's
really
very...
What were
Are you
you
going to say
say?
something? For me, it's a little bit too, like, caring and sensual and, like daddy dom vibes. Yeah.
Yeah, but the daddy dom is, like, why I like it, I think, because they can either have their, like, arm around your throat, over your mouth, and
over my
also
mouth,
have a
yes.
hand on your clit at the same time. I get super wet in this position. Don't know what it is about it.
It must be the
dripping.
The intimacy, the caring thing, like the big spoon behind you, holding you, gripping you.
I also think that position enables me to fully let go because I know that they can't really see me.
Yes.
I lose the control and I'm like just fucking in this like delirious, like, because for me penetration feels amazing in that position. I just realized that we're talking a lot about dick and pussy in all of
and
these
body
positions.
and we still haven't really spoken about positions in like again going back to penetrative sex, like where the G-spot hits the most. And because like, you know, the one where you're lying down, it's missionary, but your legs are closed and they're on the outside, it's really hard to hit G-spot there. And it's the same with like using a clitoral toy at the same time. A lot of positions just don't allow for that. Lazy bitch for me. Lazy bitch where I'm lying on the toy, I'm gripping it with one hand, I'm face down, legs are open.
I've not done that in ages. And that's our classic.
What? That was the classic lazy bitch move where you can, and what you were saying before about you can let go, you're not worried about what your face looks like, what your body looks like. It's the same with lazy bitch. Like no one's really looking at you. Yeah. Even though they are, you know, you've got your head turned to the side. Yeah. But if you don't want to, you can hide yourself.
What's your go-to pussy position? Because I've not had like, I don't feel like I've had proper pussy sex. Pussy on pussy sex. But
not
since
for a while.
I've been a teenager, I've fantasized about scissoring. Like, yeah. And it's always one of those positions where it's like, do people actually do this or do they not?
The last time I did scissoring, it is just so much effort. It's not like one of you is doing the effort. It's both of you doing the effort, and it's exhausting on your body the way that you have to scissor.
Yeah, I almost feel like I would be so mentally turned on by it. It would be more of like a mental thing than a physical thing.
Yeah. But is it a male gaze thing where we've just been brought up watching lesbian porn or girl on girl porn, thinking like, that looks really hot and really into that, but in practice, in reality...
This is the weird thing, is that I did watch lesbian porn when I was a teenager, but I didn't watch that much porn in general, and I feel like I fantasized about this without even seeing it. So it was always in my gaze. It was always just the thought of having my pussy on another pussy that I was just like, that's making me feel warm inside.
Yeah, bodies are so difficult. It's really hard to get them comfortably. And I think, again, I don't want to make it gendered, but I feel like women need a lot more to feel comfortable. So if something physically is making them uncomfortable, it's really hard for them to experience pleasure or climax or orgasms. But then I think for guys, maybe less so. And like, you know, the doing action can be more pleasurable. But I've done scissors before. It doesn't look like, you know, the stereotypical scissors. It's kind of in a way where you're kind of like one person's on the side, like grinding against, like holding the other person's leg, and they're holding your leg, and it has to be like real wet and slippy, and it's quite hard to find each other's clitori.
Report back more on that soon.
Yeah, maybe. Well, you know, go to some sex parties and
we'll see what happens.
Get some pussy.
I was doing reverse cowgirl the other day and we were filming it, and that's the only reason I would fucking do it.
It looks good, and I think it visually looks good, but
It wasn't
don't
doing
love
much
it for me personally.
No,
Yeah.
it wasn't doing much for me. Maybe if I had like my doxy or something, like my wand, it would have been a bit better. But for me, it's one of those things where it's like I'm looking at your feet and like
Impersonal. Yeah.
it's too impersonal.
Yeah, that makes sense. Unless they're like really into looking like pussy, arse, you from the back, which, you know, visually I imagine looks great, but it's if you're into that.
Sometimes I just do things for my partner.
I mean, don't we all? As part of sex is as doing stuff for them to enjoy it as much as our own.
Exactly.
I also find that if we're talking about like man and woman again, if the position of where the dick is, because normally a hard erection will be up towards their head direction. So when you're in reverse cowgirl, it just doesn't hit me in the right place. Like I need to be facing them for it to feel better.
I mean, this could be strap-on as well, so yeah.
This is true, but it's strap-ons are quite hard to fuck like that because they're often quite big. It depends on the toy that you get, but
you can choose the size.
You can choose the size, but it's like as much as I have like 2 strap-ons, I still have the same size dildo for them, and that's too big.
I get in my head when I'm on top because I'm like, I'm not good at this.
Oh,
and I'm like trying to like just because it's so much effort and my knees start hurting and
then
like,
the overthinking kicks in and then you can't enjoy and feel the pleasure. Yeah, I feel that. I don't know about you, but for me, penetrative sex only really feels that enjoyable when I'm staying still and I'm being penetrated, that the penetration is moving. That is when I come the most. It's not the other way around. Like, sometimes it can be, sure.
Yeah, rarely, but sometimes.
Yeah, I want to be fucking pounded. I want to be slammed. That's where I come, where it's that, like, it's not even just, I mean, I enjoy the slow action, but I like the...
Yeah.
Like that.
So, it's interesting you say that you need, like, the fastness and the pace there, because I totally get what you mean about staying still, because when I'm still, I can then hone in on like the pleasure that I'm feeling. But if I'm moving, it really distracts me.
Yes, it's a distraction.
But I like not moving and them going really slow. Like that's when I start feeling everything.
Okay, that's nice, yeah. I like a slow first penetration, sure. Same with, I'm thinking about dildos when I'm fucking myself. Like, suction dildos that don't thrust in and out, that just stay there. That's not as pleasurable for me than if I'm holding a dildo, fucking myself and doing that pleasure. Maybe it's a concentration thing.
Although, having said all this, sometimes when I am on top, it will just be hitting the right position. I find the right, like, pace, and it will be fucking amazing and I'll come all over their dick.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I think it's so down to so many different factors, like who you're with, how you're feeling at that time, what you've been doing sexually beforehand, like where's your mind at. There's just so many factors. It's not just simply this. And also, we're just 2 women talking about penetrative sex. Like, there are so many different types of sex, and it's so different for everyone. I
feel kind of bad. We were like, sex positions, and then we've just spoken about fucking penetration.
Well, it's I mean, if that's all we've really been having, it's hard to talk about other sex positions. And especially I feel bad because we're not talking about, like, you know, male on male sex positions. Yeah,
I mean, we really wouldn't have a clue. Curious fuckers, tell us what your go-to sex positions are, and if there's any new ones that you've tried out recently that you're like, yeah, right.
Yeah, you got to describe them. Don't just say the names, because they've all got like random names. You know, you gotta give us the body language. Better still, draw us a picture and post it on your stories and tag us in it.
Yes,
please.
And I'm sorry if your favourite sex position is 69. But anyway, if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with everyone you know. Give us a rating.
Including your mum and your dad, please.
Yeah.
Granny and grandpa, aunt and uncle, go.
This graphic episode for sure. And give us a rating and a review, and we would super appreciate that because it gets our podcast into more people's ears.
And of course, you can keep up to date with all of our shenanigans on Instagram. We are posting stories every day. And we're posting a lot of engagement stories, so come and get involved. That's at Come Curious, as well as follow our personal accounts of Reed Amber X and Florence Bark, and that's on everything: YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. We're both on TikTok as well, so yeah, get all up in that goodness.
And of course, support us over on our Patreon.
Oh, yes.
We only ask for a little amount of money just so that we can keep doing this independently. We also upload ad-free episodes on that.
Yes. We love you all so much, and we will see you next Thursday.
See you next Thursday. Bye.
Creepiest end.